My name is Vanessa MacDonald and I'm here on behalf of Finance Malta. We have with us some amazing speakers to tell us about Malta and its wealth management proposition. We've got with us Ian Casingena from HSBC Bank Malta, who's the head of private clients. We also have David, who's the CEO of a Maltese law firm, Mamo TCV, which specializes in corporate banking, financial services, law, and other services also related to wealth management. And we also have Robert Attard, partner from the tax policy leader at Ernst & Central and Southeastern Europe. Later on, Carl Mertier will be joining us. He's the manager of the transaction advisory services at Ernst & Young. So, wealth management in Malta. This is an exciting place for Malta, really. We've seen 30% increase in financial services in 2010 alone, and the numbers for 2011 were also quite remarkable. That's actually very rapid growth for any jurisdiction. Where did this rapid growth come from? Is it something that other jurisdictions have lost, or is it something that we have won? Why? What are we doing right?
Well, if I can start myself, I would say that Malta has invested a lot over a long number of years to achieve the position it is now. It has invested in a lot of human resources, so that is a resource which we are concentrating on at the moment to ensure the continuity of this growth path which Malta has taken. A university is dishing out professionals in the accountancy field, tax, law. So these are areas, I think, which we need to keep boosting for the success of the economy. But one of the reasons is as well, I suppose, is the big bulwark of regulatory sector, which has prepared a strong foundation, I would say, for a strong development to sustain growth over a protracted period of time. So really, I think the regulatory foundation for this market was really laid out years ago, as we were saying, and I think that is another aspect where it was important to show, the international forum that we were geared to take on that type of business that we are, making out a call, sending out a call for. And the regulator himself obviously offered a lot of support, which was important. We have regulators in the different areas which really, cover the whole aspect of wealth management, whether it is corporate, whether it is high net worth individual schemes or residential schemes, whether it is funds, and also a special tax unit which is housed within the regulatory, authority itself as well, which gives support to the practitioners. So all these, I think, all these factors helped, sustain this growth without hindering the growth part itself, because they were ready to accept the stress, so to speak, of this increase of workload on their shoulders. And that is something that we have to give a lot of credit to the authority for as well.
When we are talking about the people that are attracted as wealth management clients here, what are we talking about? Are we talking about people, or are we talking about corporates?
We actually have a mix. You have a mix of high net worth individuals. You have a mix of corporate customers, corporate clients like banks, insurance companies, companies in the aviation sector. So it's a very interesting mix of different types of persons with different backgrounds and as well as different jurisdictions. We are not attracting only persons from select jurisdictions, but we are attracting people from all around the world. And even the nature of the types of people who are coming here reflects this eclectic success. So, as I said, you have regulated and non-regulated business. We have a very strong law relating to high net worth individuals, a very flexible law relating to funds, collective investment schemes, and regulated business such as captive insurance. And it is a mix, which provides solutions both at corporate level as well as individual level.
You mentioned aviation. Perhaps you could explain a little bit more about that.
Yes, our law is very interesting. I mean, Malta has a proven track record with shipping. We were extremely successful with shipping. We are now already registering successes with aviation. We have major international players who have already set up shop in Malta. Malta is where it is. It makes sense to set up shop in Malta from a logistical point of view and even from a regulatory point of view. We have the right laws to attract persons in the aviation industry too.
So people who actually want to come here and register
aircraft.
As we do with ships in the maritime sector, we're doing the same in the aviation.
Yes, register aircraft, register companies which manage aircraft. So it's another sector which is recording an unprecedented success.
Robert, you mentioned the word flexible, which can perhaps ring a few alarm bells in people listening, because they may equate flexible with lax. Is that why we're doing so well? Are we lax?
Certainly not. We are extremely rigid when it comes to prevention of money laundering laws. No, flexibility means something else. Flexibility means adjusting yourself to change, rapidly changing your laws to adjust to the needs of the economy and to the needs of business. Flexibility means a regulator or regulators, because we are speaking of regulators in the gaming sector, in the aviation sector. So it is a mix really, and these regulators are open, approachable to the people who they regulate. So they are not the police. So they are, they reach out to the people they actually regulate and they actually supervise. It's an approach more than anything else.
Ian, when we're talking about wealth management, I mean, I'm not quite sure what the definition is at HSBC of a wealth management client, but can we actually think big enough? I mean, what do we have to actually offer people who are looking for asset location and, as you were saying, allocation?
Yeah, I mean, as we see, wealth management today is totally different from what we used to see it a few years ago. It's not just about financial planning or where you know how to invest your money, but there are different areas where we have to look and that Malta as a jurisdiction can offer to prospective wealth management clients. One of them is, all right, asset allocation, which is obviously a core area, but there's also asset location. Which vehicle to use? Shall I use a trust because I need to plan, I have succession planning needs? Shall I use other vehicles such as a foundation because I need to leave these funds for a charity? And then there are other areas, in which jurisdiction you should hold these assets. So wealth management today is a much wider concept than we used to think about a few years ago.
It's quite amazing. I mean, at the moment we have 109 investment services licenses available in Malta, and obviously people are being added to the list all the time. We had 7 added in the previous year, so it keeps going up since the previous year. We also have 24 fund administrators and so on. The categories just seem to be increasing all the time. But what has changed perhaps since the financial crash of the last few years? Why are these kind of investment vehicles and packages, these offerings, why are they becoming more interesting now?
Well, I think one of the factors that really has translated itself into a benefit for the financial services sector, financial groups, investors, have taken attack on wanting to have more control over the ultimate underlying investments, where their money is going to go to. And this is one of the reasons why people have taken a lunge at going in the direction of setting up their own investment vehicles. One of them would be typically the private investment fund or the professional investor fund, which has proved a big success in Malta. Why is that? Because all the underlying investments which these funds put their clients in would be identified, would be known by the investor, would be targeted at the initial stages when the fund is being set up, and so the client himself would have control over the destiny of what this vehicle is going to do, and not leaving it to a big financial institution where at the end of the day it finds itself on a broker's desk or in some stock exchange where, you know, people can make a market or invest in products which may not be really known by the ultimate investor. And this was the tragedy of the subprime market, where people were actually not aware where they were placing their funds, what these funds were investing in. So this is a completely different approach. Malta has offered the solutions to that. It has offered solutions in terms of costs as well, in terms of reliability and efficiency in the turnaround of setting up these vehicles. So I think there we proved a point where, you know, we can offer solutions within the actual existing financial environment. This is one of the, I think, one of the reasons why Malta's financial services economy has grown is precisely this, that clients have put more faith in themselves and entrusted, you know, a jurisdiction like Malta, which has the regulator and the regulatory environment in place and the same safety requirements in place to secure, you know, their interests in whatever ventures they want to place their own investments.
I'm sure it doesn't harm that there's actually bipartisan support in the local parliament, because that means that if we do need legislation, we can get it through.
That has certainly been, you know, part of the success, I think, of the industry itself. It was always, and it goes to prove actually, where, you know, you have political consensus on a particular direction where you want to take a country, a small country like Malta, or even a bigger country for that matter, what success you can reap from political consensus. There has always been political consensus in this field. Malta's political parties, Malta's basically a bipartisan, you know, type of democratic society. There are two major parties, but even the smaller ones, which are not possibly represented in parliament, have always, you know, presented themselves as fully supportive of the development which Malta has followed, you know, in this sector. So that is definitely one of the, I would say, the ingredients of the success.